Every athlete dreams of victory, but for some, it's not just about winning, it's about redemption. It's about those athletes, those teams who have tasted the bitter sting of defeat, who have been counted out, doubted, and dismissed. They felt the searing pain of coming up short, the agony of watching their dreams turn to dust. But instead of succumbing to despair, they rise from the ashes, fueled by an unquenchable thirst for vengeance. These are the stories of epic sports revenge, where the stakes are higher, the emotions are rawer, and the taste of victory is that much sweeter.
Marian Hossa, a name synonymous with skill, talent, and an unyielding desire for hockey's ultimate prize. We're talking about a guy who, year after year, poured his heart and soul onto the ice, only to fall agonizingly short of the Stanley Cup. Traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2008, Hossa finally got his chance, facing off against his former team, the Detroit Red Wings, in the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you imagine the pressure, the weight of his past failures, the desire to prove his doubters wrong? But fate, it seems, had other plans. The Red Wings, led by the veteran savvy of Nicklas Lidstrom, emerged victorious, leaving Hossa to grapple with the crushing reality of another year, another loss. But champions have this uncanny ability to turn setbacks into fuel, to transform pain into motivation. Hossa, undeterred, signed with the Detroit Red Wings the very next season, a move some might call audacious, even bordering on masochistic. He was walking back into the Lions' Den, facing the very team that had dashed his championship dreams just a year prior. Talk about facing your demons head-on. And so, the stage was set for a rematch of epic proportions, a clash of titans fueled by history, heartbreak, and the insatiable hunger for redemption. This time, however, fortune favored the bold. Hossa and the Red Wings found themselves once again in the Stanley Cup Finals, staring down a familiar foe, the Pittsburgh Penguins. The intensity was palpable, the electricity in the air thick enough to cut with a knife. In the end, it was Hossa and the Red Wings who hoisted the Stanley Cup, etching their names into hockey lore. But for Hossa, the victory tasted even sweeter. This wasn't just a championship. It was vindication, a testament to his resilience, and a resounding message to those who had dared to doubt him. Marian Hossa's journey to the Stanley Cup is a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all, a beacon of hope for anyone who has ever dared to dream of redemption.
In the annals of baseball history, few departures were as emotionally charged as my exit from the Boston Red Sox. After guiding the franchise to 2 historic World Series titles, breaking the dreaded curse of the Bambino, my tenure ended amidst controversy and disappointment. The weight of expectations, the scrutiny of a passionate fan base, and the pressure cooker of a historic franchise, it all took its toll. Fast forward to 2016, and I found myself at the helm of the Cleveland Indians, a team on the rise, hungry for its own taste of glory. Fate, as it often does, had a flair for the dramatic. In the American League Division Series, my Indians squared off against none other than my former team, the Boston Red Sox. Talk about a clash of emotions. The storylines practically wrote themselves. Could I, the man who had brought 2 championships to Boston, now eliminate them from playoff contention? Could I silence the doubters and rewrite my own narrative? The series was a roller coaster ride, a back-and-forth affair that kept fans on the edge of their seats. But through it all, I remained stoic, my calm demeanor a stark contrast to the whirlwind of emotions swirling around me. In the end, it was my Indians who emerged victorious, vanquishing the Red Sox and silencing any lingering doubts about my managerial prowess. This wasn't just a playoff series, it was a statement. I was back, and I wasn't just settling for a participation trophy.
Joe Montana, the name itself evokes images of gridiron greatness, a quarterback who redefined excellence during his illustrious career with the San Francisco 49 ERs. But even legends face their mortality, and Montana's time in San Francisco came to an end when he was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The football world was in shock. How could the 49 ERs let go of their franchise icon? The trade sent shockwaves through the NFL, but for Montana, it was a chance to prove that he still had what it took to compete at the highest level. The stage was set for a showdown for the ages, Montana's Chiefs against his former team, the San Francisco 49 ERs. The anticipation was palpable, the air thick with anticipation and a hint of nostalgia. Fans flocked to the stadium, eager to witness history in the making. And Montana, ever the cool customer, delivered a performance for the ages, picking apart the 49 ER's defense with surgical precision. He moved the ball with ease, his passes finding their targets with pinpoint accuracy. The Chiefs, inspired by their legendary leader, played with a fire and intensity that had been missing for years. When the final whistle blew, it was Montana and the Chiefs who emerged victorious, sending a resounding message to the football world. Joe Montana was far from finished.
The Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, a cauldron of passion, a temple of football, witnessed a spectacle that will forever be etched in the annals of Olympic history. It was a tale of redemption, a story of a nation seeking to exorcise the demons of a humiliating defeat. In the 2014 World Cup, on home soil, Brazil suffered an unthinkable, unimaginable 7. One defeat at the hands of a ruthless German machine. The loss sent shockwaves through the nation, leaving an entire country in mourning. But from the ashes of that defeat, a burning desire for redemption ignited within the heart of every Brazilian player. The 2016 Olympics in Rio presented a golden opportunity, a chance to avenge that painful loss, to reclaim their place atop the footballing world. Standing in their way, once again, was their nemesis, Germany. The weight of history, the pressure of a nation's expectations, it all rested on their shoulders. The match was a tense, nerve-wracking affair, a battle of wills that showcased the best of both teams. But this time, it was Brazil's night. Neymar, carrying the hopes of a nation on his shoulders, delivered a moment of magic, curling a free kick into the back of the net, sending the Maracana into a state of delirium. The final whistle blew, and Brazil had done it. They had avenged their World Cup heartbreak, claiming Olympic gold and etching their names into the history books.
Rune Oda, the Texas Rangers second baseman, was never one to shy away from a confrontation. His fiery demeanor and aggressive style of play made him both a fan favorite and a target for opposing teams. But in 2016, Oda found himself at the center of a brawl that would define his career. During a game against their division rivals, the Toronto Blue Jays, Oda and Blue Jays slugger Jose Bautista got tangled up at second base. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and in a flash, Oda delivered a right hook that sent Bautista crashing to the ground. The benches cleared, a melee ensued, and when the dust settled, Oda was ejected from the game, his reputation forever altered. The punch was seen by some as a justified act of retaliation, a way of defending a teammate and upholding the unwritten rules of baseball. Others condemned it as a blatant act of violence, a black mark on the sport. But the story didn't end there. In the American League Division Series, the Blue Jays and Rangers met again, this time with the stakes even higher. The Blue Jays, led by Bautista and a powerful lineup, were out for revenge. They dominated the series, sweeping the Rangers in 4 games, their bats silenced, their spirit broken. Oda, once a symbol of defiance, became a cautionary tale, a reminder that revenge, while tempting, often comes at a steep price. John Gruden, the coach with the infectious enthusiasm and the tireless work ethic, had always been driven by a burning desire to win. After achieving success with the Oakland Raiders, Gruden found himself traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The trade sent shockwaves through the NFL. How could the Raiders trade away a coach who had led them to the playoffs in 3 out of 4 seasons? But for Gruden, It was a chance to prove that he could build a championship team in Tampa Bay. And fate, as it often does, had a funny way of bringing things full circle. In Super Bowl XVIII, Gruden's Buccaneers faced off against his former team, the Oakland Raiders. The storyline was too perfect, too Hollywood to script. Could Gruden, the coach who had helped revitalize the Raiders, now lead the Buccaneers to victory against his former team? The game itself was a masterpiece of coaching, a chess match between two of the best minds in football. But in the end, it was Gruden who had the last laugh. His Buccaneers defense, led by the ferocious Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks, completely shut down the Raiders' high-powered offense. When the confetti fell and the celebrations began, John Gruden stood on the podium, Super Bowl trophy in hand, a testament to his coaching genius and a symbol of redemption. Peyton Manning, the quarterback with the golden arm and the football IQ that could rival a supercomputer, carried the weight of expectations on his shoulders from the moment he stepped onto an NFL field. He was supposed to be the savior, the one to lead the Indianapolis Colts to the promised land. But for years, Manning's brilliance was overshadowed by a string of playoff disappointments. He was the perennial MVP candidate, the statistical marvel, but the big one, the Super Bowl, remained elusive. The pressure mounted with each passing season, the whispers of doubt growing louder. Could Peyton Manning win the big one? Was he destined to be remembered as a great regular season quarterback who couldn't get it done when it mattered most? In 2006, Manning and the Colts faced their nemesis, the New England Patriots, in the AFC Championship game. The Patriots, led by coach Bill Belichick and quarterback Tom Brady, had been a thorn in Manning's side for years, but this time something was different. Manning was on a mission, determined to erase the memory of past failures. He played with a ferocity and a focus that had been missing in previous playoff games. He rallied his team from a 21-3 deficit, throwing for 349 yards and a touchdown, leading the Colts to an improbable 38-34 victory. The win was more than just a trip to the Super Bowl. It was a cathartic release, a validation of Manning's greatness.
LeBron James, the kid from Akron, Ohio, who carried the hopes and dreams of an entire city on his shoulders, had always been destined for greatness. He was the chosen one, the prodigy who was supposed to bring a championship to his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. But in 2010, after years of heartbreak and near misses, I made the decision to take my talents to South Beach, joining the Miami Heat in pursuit of my championship aspirations. The move sent shockwaves through the NBA, leaving Cleveland fans heartbroken and betrayed. I was labeled a traitor, my image tarnished by the perception that I had abandoned my hometown in their hour of need. But fate, as it often does, had a way of offering second chances. After 4 years and 2 championships in Miami, I returned to Cleveland, determined to fulfill the promise I had made years earlier, to bring a championship to Northeast Ohio. The 2016 NBA Finals pitted me and the Cavaliers against the Golden State Warriors, a team that had won an NBA record 73 games during the regular season. The Warriors were the heavy favorites, led by the sharpshooting duo of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. But I and the Cavaliers had other plans. Down 3-1 in the series, facing elimination, I delivered one of the most dominant performances in NBA Finals history, leading the Cavaliers to 3 straight victories, including a Game 7 for the ages.
Tom Brady, the quarterback with the ice water in his veins, the man who had already etched his name into the pantheon of NFL legends, found himself at the center of a controversy that threatened to tarnish his legacy. Deflategate, as it came to be known, cast a shadow over Brady and the New England Patriots, accusations of cheating swirling around their dynasty. The NFL levied a 4-game suspension on Brady, questioning his integrity and casting doubt on his accomplishments. The scandal divided fans, ignited debates, and threatened to overshadow Brady's brilliance. But through it all, Brady maintained his innocence. vowing to clear his name and prove his doubters wrong. And what better way to silence the critics than on the biggest stage in sports? Super Bowl LI pitted Brady and the Patriots against the Atlanta Falcons, a team riding high on the arm of MVP quarterback Matt Ryan. The Falcons jumped out to a commanding lead, leading by as many as 28-3 in the third quarter. The game seemed all but over, the Patriots dynasty on the verge of crumbling, but then something remarkable happened. Tom Brady, fueled by an unquenchable desire to prove his doubters wrong, orchestrated one of the greatest comebacks in Super Bowl history. For 86 long years, the Boston Red Sox labored under the weight of a curse, a hex that seemed to doom them to eternal frustration. The curse of the Bambino, born when the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth to their arch-rivals, the New York Yankees, had become an inescapable part of baseball lore. Generation after generation of Red Sox fans grew up hearing tales of heartbreak, of near misses, and of the seemingly insurmountable odds stacked against their beloved team. But in 2004, something magical happened. A group of players, led by a cast of characters that seemed destined for greatness, dared to dream the impossible. They embraced the underdog role, feeding off the energy of their passionate fan base, and their path to redemption led them through the Bronx, through the heart of the evil empire itself, the New York Yankees. The 2004 American League Championship Series will forever be etched in baseball history. The Red Sox found themselves on the brink of elimination, trailing the Yankees 3-0. No team in MLB history had ever come back from such a deficit. But these Red Sox, they were different. They weren't just playing for themselves, they were playing for generations of Red Sox fans who had endured decades of disappointment. Sports, at its core, is about so much more than wins and losses. It's about the human spirit, the resilience of the human will, and the power of redemption. These stories, these epic tales of revenge, remind us that even in the face of adversity, even when the odds seem insurmountable, the human spirit can overcome. They teach us that setbacks are not final, that failures are not fatal, and that the pursuit of redemption can fuel us to achieve greatness. So the next time you're watching your favorite team or athlete, remember these stories. Remember the fire that burned within them, the determination that drove them to overcome adversity, and the sweet taste of victory that made it all worthwhile.